Good evening, students. Unit 2, it is related to relational data model, keys, referential integrity, and foreign key, relational algebra, SQL fundamentals, introduction, data definition in SQL table, key and foreign key definitions, update behaviors, views, triggers, joins, constraints, stored procedures, intermediate SQL, advanced SQL features, embedded SQL, and dynamic SQL we are going to see in this unit. In the unit 1, we are discussing about some of the basic principal concepts about database management system. Now we are going to see about the relational data model. Do you have any idea about the relational data model? A relational data model is the primary data model which is used widely around the world for data storage and processing. This model is simple and it has all the properties and capabilities required to process data with storage efficiency. Here we already know that to creating the database, we need tables, rows and columns. That the same concept here also we are going to use in the relational model. The main concepts are tables. In a relational data model, relations are saved in the format of tables. This format stores the relation among entities. A table has rows and columns, where rows represent records and column represents attributes. Tuple, a single row of a table which contains a single record. For that relation is called a tuple. A single row, if you mention the row, it is called as a tuple. Relation instance, we already know that what is a relation, what is instance and what is schema. The relation instance here we are going to see. The relation instance, a finite set of tuples in the relational database system represents the relation instance. Relation instance do not have duplicate tuples. That is, duplicate row values is not uh, recorded in the relational instance. Relation schema. A relation schema describes the relation name, that is nothing but a table name, along with the attributes and their names. Relation key. Each row has one or more attributes known as a relation key, which can identify the row in the relation table uniquely. Attribute domain. Every attribute has some predefined value scope known as an attribute domain. I hope you are all, it is possible to understand. These are all the basic concepts like tables, tuple, relation and instance, relation schema and relation key, attribute domain. Now, again, we are going to discuss about some common relational models in terms of diagrammatical representation. Here it is student name, it is called as a table name, and we have three different columns, that is roll number, name and phone. That is called as a column name. And tuples like row 1 Alex for 444 123, it is called as a row or tuple. And table relation, here we are having the table relation, and that is mentioned here. Then column, that is name and roll number and phone, it is called as an attribute or column name. That is called as a relational model terms. Relation, a relation is a table with columns and rows. Attributes, an attribute is named column of a relation. Domain, a domain is the set of allowable values for one or more attributes. A tuple is a row of relation. Relation constraints, what are the database constraints in DBMS? Database constraints are restrictions on the content of the database or on database operation. It is a condition specified on a database schema that restricts the data to be inserted in an instance of the database. Here in DBMS, we have to follow some constraints. That constraints, it will give the right result for the report. So that's why we are using the constraints. Every relation has some conditions that must hold for it to be valid relation. These conditions are called relational integrity constraints. Need for constraint. Why it is needed? Constraints in the database provide a way to guarantee that the values of individual columns are valid. In a table, rows have valid primary key or unique key values.